So I was thinking about how, again, about AI and how it's actually, I feel, going to create the start of the industrial cultural revolution. So what, industrialization and automation did back in the day is happening with the creative industry right now, which means a lot of people are going to lose their jobs, and instead of the blue collar workers back in the day, it's going to be creatives, the blue collar of the creative world. So I guess low entry-level creative jobs are going to disappear, be replaced with automation. And so graphic designers are they're definitely justifiably a bit worried about their job stability right now, and that's totally fair. But what I'm trying to argue is that, or more of what I've been thinking about, is that it's going to be kind of an amazing thing for the arts. I think it's going to create a lot more of a focus for creatives to kind of rethink traditional paths in their field. So maybe at one point you wanted to be a designer, and now that dream is easily automated, there's probably room in your mind to think a bit more about a different path to take your passion. So maybe instead of very low skilled creative work for a client, you can think about your own practice and what that might look like outside of a client. But again, you have to have clients at the end of the day, and there needs to be some sort of demand, right? But I think that this industrial revolution of culture is going to create new demands. I mean, if you think about what the Industrial Revolution did, it allowed for a much greater population to access agricultural goods, and because the methods of production were industrialized, it was so much easier to service the needs of that new demographic or that new customer base. So I think the same will happen for creatives. I think what's going to happen is people are going to focus, or let's say on the client side, I think there's going to be a greater demand for the arts, because there's going to be a much greater emphasis on, or a much greater cultural respect, I guess you could say, towards creative work. And the reason why I think there is going to be a change in perspective of the general audience towards like what the societal value of being a creative is just because the average person is coming to this realization that I mentioned in my other video, that AI is, when it comes to creative work, it currently, at least, it's triggering some sort of guttural reaction where it's slop. They're calling it slop. And what they mean is it just lacks humanity. Again, it's not some sort of criticism of visually what it is. It's just this lack of humanity is what people are reacting to. So in response, I think society is obviously going to need to satiate that need for human creativity, and maybe that once was very undervalued before AI automation. So graphic designers that are paying student loans and like essentially getting paid minimum wage, and clients are saying that they want drafts or they feel like they're being overcharged for a logo, even though it took, it seems like a simple, aesthetically looks like a simple logo, but so the client is complaining like, oh, like why would I pay so much when it's something so simple, and they're discounting all the skill and effort it takes to study design. I think most creative jobs are incredibly undervalued. But now that those like lower entry-level positions can be automated, then there won't be a human to take that unfortunate criticism from the clients anymore. And on the reverse side, I think clients' needs will change and maybe become more analog in a way, which is another interesting component to this idea of the Cultural Revolution. I think the noise of the stapler is too annoying to listen to, so I'll film this some other time.